We are ready to go. This is the Carson City Visitors Bureau special meeting. Today is Tuesday, June 27th, 2017, and it is, 2:05. So call to order. And,
Renee.
Oh, roll call, sorry.
Renee Plain.
Present.
Sandra Nagel.
Present.
Karen Abell.
Present.
Jesse Dahmy and Jonathan Boulware are absent. We have a quorum.
And we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any public comment? Seeing none. For possible action, adoption of agenda.
I have no changes.
I move to approve the agenda as published.
Okay, so for possible action, approval of the resolution to augment fiscal year 2016-2017 budget is augmenting the general fund in the amount of $264,248, augmenting the V&T Capital Projects Fund in the amount of $100,946, and augmenting the Capital Project Fund in the amount of $14,563.
Okay, quickly I'll go over the changes, and for matter of record, what the augmentation period provides us is when we have significant change in our approved budget, both increases and decreases. It's expected by the State Department that we do a budget augmentation. Because of the amount of events that we have throughout June, and also still taking 2 additional months of room tax revenues, we push it off till now, the last week in June, which gives us I think probably the closest estimate of where we'll be. So I'm very confident that the numbers that we're going over today with our augmentation will reflect the end of the year fiscal year budget that we'll see in August, and then once again will reflect no significant changes in our audit report that'll come in October. So going over on page 2 of 16, once again you can see some of the changes in our initial budget. The beginning fund balance excess of amount budgeted $61,000. This, you can see where we came up with the $264,248. And once again, the general fund is the account that we run the Bureau on, just the Carson City Visitors Bureau. The other 2 general fund accounts are for the V&T. You do have those separated out on your schedules, the revenue schedule for both the general fund, which is reflected on page 3. You can see the final budgeted numbers for room tax, intergovernmental revenue, the revisions, the changes that we're making today for the augmentation, and the revised revenue resources, so the total amount. So you've got the 3 columns so you can see exactly what you're approving today as an augmentation. On page 4, once again, the Schedule B, this is the general fund. So this is where you've got the breakout of expenses also. Revenue source, revenue total, beginning fund balance are all listed. Bottom line, we were going from $1,917,756 in revenue that we projected and budgeted with the state for 2017 fiscal year, and we're increasing that by $264,248, which represents roughly 6% of the total room tax collection that comes to the general fund for a augmented budget revenue of $2,182,004. On page 5 of 16, the general fund, once again, now we're breaking out the expenses. You can see the changes. So every time that we've got significant increases or decreases, we have to then adjust our expenses accordingly. And throughout the year, we've done it month to month as a board, keeping everyone aware that with those increased revenues, we are spending the money wisely and we're increasing our expenses. This is the opportunity to make sure that those are reflected with the state. So the first page you can go through, you've got salaries and wages and benefits. Not a lot of changes, but the changes here is the fact that we do have a new full-time employee that came in, although he didn't work a full year, so it's not reflected in his full salary. So that's the change that you see. Next page is 6 of 16. Total expenditures. Now this, although we do a very detailed breakout for not only the board but also the public in each one of our meetings, The breakout is not in detail when it's reported to the state. So we just put expenditures. Expenditures were budgeted at 1.4 million, just above. We've increased our expenditures 235,000, which is lower than our revenue increases. But that brings our revised augmented expenses for fiscal year 17 to 1,637,689. Once again, you can see then how that covers over to the bottom line with our revenues. The next page will simply be the approval page, no differently than the approval page in the general fund. The next page 8 reflects the VNT Capital Projects Fund. The interest income, you can see, is increased from 983 up to 3,017. So that you have the revised resources on the revenue change just because of the interest income is the change in that account. I think they're pretty self-explanatory because they don't have a lot of expenses tied into this. This is just a transfer account for those funds. It's revenue in, reflected in a percentage, 2% of each, from the overall room tax collection. So once again, it's a great problem to have. We're getting a chance to augment our budget because we've had significant increases in our revenues over the course of the fiscal year 17. I can tell you, though, although I've increased the augmentation for the expenditures, we're going to be nowhere near the numbers that we're showing. I still anticipate that we'll be anywhere from $250,000 to $300,000 to the good, below what we've anticipated in our expenditures. And I'm confident in that because we were able to speed through almost all of the invoices associated with the last 2 weeks of major events, and I don't see anything coming together over the course of the next week. So, any questions?
Any questions from the board? No public comment? All right, can I get a motion then?
I move to approve the resolution to augment fiscal year 2016-2017 budget as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right then. Okay. Non-action items. Upcoming meetings, we have our regular meeting on July 10th at 4 p.m. here in this room. And then there's also the Carson City Cultural Commission right after on July 10th at 5:30. Is there any other public comment or anything else that we need to do? Board comments or announcements?
Buy your tickets to Concert Under the Stars. It is July 12th. CarsonCityGreenhouse.org or the Visitors Bureau to get your tickets.
For possible action to adjourn?
So moved.